wait a minute. That's an awful big deal because I don't have the money. I started with all that negative stuff again. She said, honey, please, just know that as long as you do your part, he's going to send people to help you with the other parts. And so as I went on and gave my 2 weeks notice as an OB-GYN nurse administrator, the doctors thought I was crazy because I said I was going to work at a lemonade stand. Yes. And they too thought that it was a lemonade stand serving lemonade to children. And I said, no, I am going to be fitting women for wigs and breast prosthesis and doing some makeup. Everybody thought I was insane. Now remember, this was back in 1989, however long that was. And people thought I was just absolutely crazy, just I was quitting my job and doing this. And especially because that job didn't really pay any money. Rita had probably 35 clients back then. That was it, 35 clients. But again, I was so green, I had no idea that that didn't relate into dollars. But I quit my job, gave my 2 weeks notice. Well, then the real test began because I lost Rita about 8 months later. And I was devastated. Not only did I lose a really neat woman, very courageous, awesome woman who taught me how to do so many things, but most importantly, she taught me how to know myself. And I don't know about any of you guys, but when I left my home when I was 19, I went from my parents, as I told you, to this, to this, to this. I never had an opportunity to spend time with myself. Have any of you guys ever really spent time by yourself? I found myself in all these different arenas. And I had no idea who I was. I was doing what my parents, my husband, my children, everybody needed. I didn't even know what I needed. And she was the first person to ever give me permission to just stop for a second and spend time with myself, which was an interesting concept because I'd never done that. And I said, well, what do you mean by spending time? She said, just that. Just sit, just be still. Today we call it meditate, I guess. But back then she said, just be by yourself, just sit. Just see what comes to you. Read, take the time to read something that you really enjoy. Again, hello, there was a concept. I didn't take the time to read or anything because I was always on fast pace, doing. And then it was, or listen to music. I liked all kinds of music, but I never took the time to really listen to it. I was too busy. I enjoyed meeting new people, family and friends, and just spending time being, but I never did it because I was always too busy. She was the first person that said it's okay to find out who you are as a person, become strong in who you are, and then go back out and enter into the world of your family, your friends, and all the different people you're going to meet and see what happens. See what magic starts to unfold when you are who you truly are as a person. You'll see it's amazing. Well, I was so grateful that she shared those words with me because I did step out and try that. It's kind of weird at first to spend time by yourself. You guys ever done that? Just really be by yourself. It's actually kind of scary. The first time I did it, I was afraid of who I was. I was afraid to be by myself. And I can tell you the first time I did it, I was at my farm, which was like 300 acres all by yourself, like in the woods, and these 20 horses running around, and it was just me and the horses. And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself in for? It was scary learning to be by myself and to really find out what I was made out of. But the interesting thing was it was a really good thing to do that because when Rita passed away, I found out that there was more inside of me that I never knew was possible. I never dreamed in a million years that I could ever run a business. But you know what? I was doing it. Somehow, I figured out how to do this business, I believe by the grace of God, but I was running this business for her. I was learning how to do wigs. Now, yes, I had a cosmetology background, but I hadn't touched a wig even in school. They went through that chapter like, here's wig, zip, that's it. So I had really no background in it until now. And now that was my job, was to fit people for wigs. And you know who my first customer was? Who said that?
I did.
You win the prize. Oh, you already have the book, darn. That's how she knew. Yeah, I was gonna say, you win the prize. Yes, it was a man. I could not believe it. And I had this discussion with Rita. It was like, tell me that men need wigs, for goodness sake. I never would have thought about that. But here I was, nervous as all get out and trying to fit a man. But, again, by the grace of God, it worked. And I even surprised myself, because when the wig came in, it looked just like him. But now I had to cut it up and make it really look like him, you know, cut out the sideburns and all that good stuff. But amazingly, it actually worked. And I had to sit back and say, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, I never thought I could do this, ever, ever. But had it not been for Rita's courage and her strength and telling me to step out and don't be afraid, don't be afraid. When you fear the fear, she would say, do it anyway, just do it anyway. Well, then it came time to learn about the prosthesis, and we're not going to tell that story now, right? We even had men for those things too, so we'll just leave that for the book. But it was a whole new experience. I learned about breast cancer. I learned about colon cancer. I learned about all these different cancers through the 10 years that I ran that business for Rita. We ended up with locations for the lemonade stand. We were in Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana. Can't tell that's originally where I'm from, Kentucky. But we had a lemonade stand in the 3 states. And we were doing wigs and prosthesis, and I know she was a happy camper because we were now serving over 10,000 people. Isn't that just amazing? It was amazing to me because I didn't know. I kept doing the I don't know, I can, whatever, until that one stranger came into my life and said, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And so when she said that, and I looked around and went, oh my goodness, look at this. We went from 35 clients to over 10,000 in 10 years. The strength from the people that I took care of, I was so blessed being with all these different people, even little children who have taught me so much. I was just amazed at the young children who got life faster than I did. You know, I didn't figure all this out. I had so many things going on by the time I was 26. I thought life was just bad, and that's how it was going to stay. These were little kids who were fighting far more battles than I ever did. And yet they were doing it with a smile on their face, and I was just amazed by their strength. But each one of them taught me something, and I am so grateful that I stepped out. Even though my family and my friends, you know, the people that we think love us and are saying things for our best interest, they all try to discourage me from doing this. They thought I should have been locked in a straitjacket because, you know, she is divorced and she's got a lot of pressure, so she probably don't know what she's talking about. That's what they would say. And my dear dad, God love him, he'd go, honey, now, you can't be doing that. You have boys to raise, and you have to be the mom and the dad. And I would say, Dad, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Well, they all didn't believe until my 5th year that I was still in business. And now they were going, oh my gosh, how'd she do that? She's still in business. And today I'm happy to say that 2 of my brothers now own businesses themselves, which, again, nobody in our family had ever done. But they were inspired, and see how it worked? They were inspired because of a total stranger, had nothing to even do with them. But they saw that, my gosh, if my sister can do it, I'm certainly not going to let her outdo me. So I'm going to do a business too. Well, you know, it really helped to pay attention to those strangers and to the people that I met along the way. You know, I had told you I had previously had 2 back surgeries, and you know, for being in my 20s, that was pretty unusual. But I had people as a nurse when I worked in the hospital, and I think, you know, I take care of patients that have back surgeries. I think, man, I hope I don't ever have to do that. Then boom, here I was one. I'm working with the cancer, never knew anything about cancer. And the next thing you know, I'm totally in the thralls of it, working with people every day. And I became the president of the American Cancer Society in Kentucky. And then I really learned a lot about it and how it extends beyond the patients. We got to do research, we got to support each other, we got to do all these things with each other. was, again, a phenomenal learning experience.